Good morning. Today is Wednesday, December 20th. It's a little after 7 a.m. I kind of had a slow start to the morning. I decided to wake up a little later, so I got up at 5:45. Kind of ridiculous. But yeah, I decided to get up a little later, kind of have a slower start to the morning since it is the first day of Christmas break. I've got my coffee going right now, and I thought I would sit down and share some of my knitting with you guys that I worked on yesterday. So first I'll show you Austin's sock because that's the good news. There's bad news. There's bad news. So Austin's sock, the second warrior sock, I'm past the heel. I've decreased all of the gusset stitches, so I just have a foot and a toe to do, which I know that will take me no time at all. I might leave this for Friday morning for my knitting group. That'll give me something easy to work on. Not that I really have any hard projects going on right now, but just some straight knitting to do Friday morning. So that is the good news. Bad news, I was starting Wyatt's fingerless mitts, and I've got them in my Stitching Plaza Doctor Who Christmas bag. So I'm doing them out of, this one's a mess, where I've undone the mittens like 4 or 5 times maybe. Knit Picks Swish Worsted. And I was doing the Maze pattern by Tanky and Knits, which calls for a worsted. This is not a typical worsted. This is a very light worsted. Has anyone ever used this and felt that way? Like it feels to me like a DK weight almost. So I think I finally figured out that that is really what the issue is. I kept thinking these mittens cannot be this small because I did an adult small and it fit Wyatt okay around, because I did end up just trying it on him because like these do not look like they're gonna fit. An adult small was so small. Yeah, and I measured my gauge and it was off, and I think it's just the yarn is thinner. So I'm gonna go back to the pattern I used last year for the fingerless mitts that I made, and I'm gonna use the paddle mitts pattern by Tin Can Knits. I did those last year in a DK weight. I might actually have some of it right here. Yes. I have a lot of that left. Yeah, this feels very comparable to that. It is thicker than this. This is Cascade Heritage, or no, Cascade Vintage DK or something. Yeah. The swish is a little bit thicker than this, so I don't know. It's definitely not a worsted though. More like a sport or a DK. So that's that. I'm gonna have to do a different pattern for the fingerless mitts. And I'm hoping the hat will work out okay because the hat is in worsted as well. So maybe I'll go ahead and start the hat today. Just kind of take a break from the mitts and do something else quickly and see how the hat works out, and hopefully it goes okay. I would hate for the last bit of Christmas knitting that I have to do to just be a complete and total bust when I bought all of this swish worsted to use for these last minute knits. So we will see today how that goes, and I will of course update you guys how the progress is going. I think I will go sit down and start a hat with it and see how that works up. I'm thinking I should have just ordered the yarn I used last year because it worked really well. But I thought, oh, I'll do Knit Picks this year. And there's nothing wrong with Knit Picks. I love Knit Picks, you know, Fleechy and their stroll, and I love the yarns I've used with them. This is just definitely a lighter worsted. So it's not working with the patterns I had in mind is really what the problem is. So I'm gonna have to do some playing today and see if the hats will work and if the paddle mitts pattern will work. Today's socks are are just a pair of scrappy socks. I'm not even sure what all yarns are in here. There are all scrappy fingering weight yarns that I had used for other socks. That's from my very first pair of socks. Oh, look, there's Moosey. Moosey has never came to steal this sock talk before. She just needs some attention this morning, I guess. But yes, all scraps. That's from a pair of socks for Wyatt. Wyatt's very first pair of socks, actually the very first pair of socks I ever made, was this yarn right in here. Yep, scrappy socks today. Kind of makes me want to do another pair. I think this is the only pair of scrappy socks I have ever done. Really? Okay, Moose. Good morning, Chloe. Oh, just a cute little Moosey. Mm. Quick check-in before I go switch some laundry. Today's a laundry day. So fun. I am working on Wyatt's hat. He's sitting right there. Working on his hat, and it is measuring right on track. This is the classic World War II watch cap. I'm looking at the name over there. It's measuring right on track. I'm halfway done with the ribbing. It's a folded brim. So you do 6 inches of ribbing and then fold it up. So I'm halfway through. It's measuring exactly at 3 inches. Yes. Finally on track. I talked earlier about the mitten pattern. It wasn't working. I think I'm going to do the World's Simplest Mitt by Tankia Knits, and it is a full mitten pattern, but I'm just not going to do the decreases. I'm going to instead do just a fingerless mitt. So I think that's the plan. I'm going to finish this, and I should be able to get this done today. No problem. Hopefully. I say that and then something will happen and I won't get it done. Yes. But now I should probably go switch laundry. Would you guys look at what Austin has made me? This cute little owl, which I popped this on and made into a progress keeper, or I'll actually probably put it on a bag as a zipper pull. Look at her little feet. Isn't she so cute? I think he was feeling inspired after I showed him clips from Sandy of By the Lakeside podcast of her Vlogmas from yesterday, and one of her sons makes a lot of rainbow loom projects. So Austin went and dug his out and made me an owl, and I think she is perfect. And this is my progress on Wyatt's hat. Almost done. I think I'm at 30 some rows. So I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Later, it's 4:40 and we're sitting here waiting on the ferry. Take Austin to his friend's house. Yeah, waiting on the ferry. I wish there was a bridge right here. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. Because then it would take less time to go to my friend's house.
No kidding. So I brought with me, the lighting's kind of crazy because I've got the light on up there, shining on here, but I brought Wyatt's hat. The brim is folded up, and I think I have 2 more rows left. I need to pull the pattern out and double check. I think I've got 2 more rows, and then I start the decreases. So fingers crossed in all of my waiting for the ferry over, waiting for the ferry back, ferry rides both ways. I'll get this done, or super duper close to being done. And if I get it done, I brought some gray with me to start the next hat that I need to make. And I think I'm going to try to stay up a little bit later tonight to get a dent put in Christmas knitting. Okay, figured I would turn this around since I'm just talking. But I think I'm going to stay up a little later tonight to get a dent put in Christmas knitting, maybe, hopefully. Tomorrow I want to try to do some baking, so that's going to take up a bit of time that I could be knitting. I'm hoping Wyatt will help me do some baking. This dude was going to, but he's leaving us to go to Landon's house for 2 days. Why the sad face? You wanted to go.
I won't be able to bake with you anymore.
Well, I think I'm going to bake Christmas Eve too. If this recipe turns out, I'm going to try to make, tomorrow I will post the recipe. I have some people asking for the recipes that I do, and I never even think to post them. So I'm going to try to be better about that. But the recipe I'm going to do tomorrow, I'll post tomorrow when I do it, if it turns out. I don't want to post a recipe that I don't know if it's going to turn out. So we'll see how it works tomorrow. But it's like lunch lady cafeteria rolls, and I'm going to use the dough. It makes a huge batch, and I'm going to use half of it to make pepperoni rolls, which if you're not from around West Virginia, you may have never heard of. They are just the bread dough with pepperoni inside. You can put mozzarella cheese inside, or pepper jack cheese, whatever kind of cheese you want, but I usually just do pepperoni. And then if we want to add some cheese in, we can kind of split it open and add some cheese in and heat it up in the microwave later. But yes, I'm going to use half of it to make pepperoni rolls and half of it to make cinnamon rolls, and see how they turn out. This is kind of a trial run because I've never tried to make this recipe before. And then Christmas Eve, if it turns out Christmas Eve, I'm going to make another batch of the dough, do half for cinnamon rolls for breakfast on Christmas morning, and then do half to make our rolls for dinner on Christmas Day. Speaking of, Austin, you're not going to get to eat cinnamon rolls. There'll still be some left for you when you get home on Friday, but you won't get them fresh. Does that make you sad? Cinnamon rolls are your favorite, aren't they? Well, there'll still be plenty there. Trust me, this recipe makes a good bit, I think. So yeah, that's the plan for tomorrow. So I still, like, the problem I was having with Wyatt's fingerless mitts really put me behind on gift knitting here. This hat thankfully has gone quickly today, and hopefully I can get a good dent put in the second one if I get this one done. Then I will feel kind of back on track, so we'll see. But we've got probably like 10 minutes before this ferry loads up, and then we got to go meet Austin's friend and get him dropped off for a 2-day sleepover. Does any other mom really miss their kids when they go on sleepovers?
Comment down below.
Comment down below, he says. Are you gonna read them if they comment down below?
Yeah.
Okay, obviously we're bored waiting on the ferry, but I'm gonna get some knitting done. Car Chronicles. Does anybody else hate driving at night? I'm not driving right now, by the way. I'm parked at the ferry. That wouldn't be good. I hate driving at night. I hate it. I would rather go to the dentist than drive when it's dark outside. It gets dark like 5 p.m. now. It's 6:30 right now. I ended up having to drive farther than I had planned, so that took up like 20 minutes of knitting time because I had to take him all the way to their house instead of meeting them. So this is where I am. I just pulled up to the ferry. I'm close. I'm so close. Sorry, that music might be a little loud. I'm close. I am hoping to have it done by the time I get home. 6:30. So the ferry won't load until about 5 till 7. Leave at 7. 20-minute ride home. Fingers crossed I'll have decreases done. Yeah, sorry if that music's loud. I'm listening to the Eagles. I love the Eagles so much. And this is like a greatest hits or something. And all of these songs, like, they take me back to being a kid and my dad listening to the Eagles so much. Like, there's one song on here, Wasted Time. I just remember him playing on repeat, like at one point in stuff we were going through in our life. I just remember hearing it over and over again. So it's so funny how songs can carry memories, I think. Like, they can take you back to a place and you can remember exactly how you felt. I just think that's so interesting, and a lot of these songs definitely do that for me. So I'm going to get these decreases done. I love this hat pattern. You decrease every round, so you don't have to worry about counting your rows while you're decreasing. You're just decreasing every round until you're down to the number of stitches that you need to end it. So I'm going to try to get this done before I even get on the ferry. Let's see if I can do it. Another car chronicle. I just got onto the ferry and look what I completely finished, ends woven in and everything, right before they put the gate up to load. It's done. It's done. So excited that it's done. Now I have a 15-20-ish minute ferry ride to cast on Austin's. I don't really feel like casting on something while I'm on the ferry, but I'm gonna do it.